Feeling a little unsettled and stressed with the way things are in our world? Experience the peace of Jesus with Finding Peace, our 5-day devotional. Visit purposely.com to sign up. Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at purposely.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gospel Tech Podcast. My name is Nathan Sutherland, and this podcast is dedicated to helping families love God and use tech. Today, we are talking about summertime, and specifically, how do we avoid the summer slip? This conversation is important because if you've never heard about the summer slip, as educators, it's something we're pretty passionate about. The summer slip is this idea going back basically 40 years now in terms of research, that when young people quit engaging their learning muscles, if you will, if they quit practicing what they've been practicing all year, they lose it. And I want to walk you through just a little bit of this, because the research, I knew it was a thing and I knew it as a teacher and we talked about it a lot, but then I was like, let's dive into the research. Let's look at this. So summer slip is the concept of how much do you lose over a summer. This idea of summer break, by the way, was based on the concept of agrarian culture. We were going to send our kids to school and then we needed them home for 2.5 months to help us with the harvest. So they were going to be home, work the farm, and then go back to school when they had a chance, because survival was our priority and school was an opportunity. But now we just get these 10-week breaks where our kids aren't in the classroom and we don't always have the academic rigor built up at home to help support their learning. 2/3 of students, this is going back to the mid-90s, so in the last 25-ish years, coming up on 30 actually, we see 2/3 of students in America consistently pass the reading and the mathematics exams. So 33-ish% on both math and reading. Young people are above proficient, and then 2/3 of students, 70-ish% on both, are meeting standard or exceeding standard. So that's a good chunk of kids, and that was true in 1998, and that's true in 2019, the last time I was able to find this stat. Yet, that means roughly the same number of students are not making it, 27%. In 1998 and again in 2019. So with this 21-year gap, we are seeing the exact same number of students below a basic level of proficiency with reading, and then in mathematics as well. It's actually 30% in mathematics. So that's important. Then there's research that shows, this actually comes from the New York State Library, cites that the achievement gap between high and low income socioeconomics, so you have kids from rich families, you have kids from poor families, not looking at their ethnicity or other background things or education levels, but just looking at income, there's a gap. So why is it there? This research coming from 2007 from Alexander et al. Says that it actually looks like it's from the consistency of learning over the summer months. And I was like, that's interesting, but like, how would you prove that? Oh, how you prove that indeed. So again, the first study was we're not there yet. First study was looking back from 2019. The second one, it was a study from 2007. Then there's the research that shows that students in America over summer break, 52% of the students have an academic slip, and that on average, they're losing 40% of the previous year's knowledge. That's not 40% of everything they knew. But let's say they're a third grader and they're gone into fourth grade. They end, if they're on track, 70% of these students will end at fourth grade reading level, 4.0 reading level. And then if they finish fifth grade, 5.0, because that's what the state is trying to figure out. When they say you're at a proficient or a basic level of understanding, you're competent at your grade level. And the point is you should start at the beginning of your grade level. So if you finish third grade, you're going to show up at a 3.0. We're going to get you to 4.0 by the end of fourth grade so that you can think and read and engage fourth grade level text. 70% of students are doing that, 27% are not over the course of 2 decades. What they then found is, in this study, 40% or 52% of students are losing 40% of the content they learned. So you finished at a 3.0 at grade level, but you didn't study it all. And so now you lost 40% of the previous year. So you start fourth grade not at a 3.0, but as a 2.6. And then the kicker, the students who do that repeatedly, those 52%, see it year over year. They are over a 5-year span. This is using Northwest, actually, I know the NWEA, the Northwest Education Association had 200 million test scores. And when they were reviewed, the students, the 52% who saw loss, up to 40% of their knowledge from the previous year, saw it consecutively for 5 years in a row. So your third grader lost 40% of third grade, and then of fourth grade, and then of fifth grade, and then of sixth grade, and then of seventh grade. We see year over year over year. And if you think about what that means, it means you have two kids, both finishing third grade at 3.0. One starts at 3.0, one starts at 2.6. They both gain a year's worth of learning. Now you have a 4.0 and a 3.6, but then a 40% loss. So they start with a 4.0 and a 3.2. And now they're a 5.0 and a 4.2, but then you lose 40% again. And like it continues and it continues and it continues to the point where you're now going to be in 8th grade reading at like a 5th grade level when you were finishing at grade level each time. Now, can you make that up in a school year? You absolutely can. You can learn in a few weeks a lot of knowledge. But why would we put our child through that? If we did all the work to learn it this year, why don't we just maintain it? Okay, what do we have to do to maintain it? This is where the research really goes deep. 1987, there was a study, and I'm going to mess this up. I want to say it's Nagy, Nagy. Please forgive me if that's not how you say that. But Nagy and Herman, 1987, found reading 20 minutes a day. They looked at specifically school year academic success, but it carries into extending that academic success. Over our summer, 20 minutes a day. Students who read 20 minutes a day through a school year were exposed to 1.6 million more words than students who read 5 minutes a day. Some of you are like, I'm not sure we read 5 minutes a day. I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, yeah, I don't, man, that's not great. How bad does it get? But at 20 minutes a day, you're getting something like 1.8 million words you're being exposed to. If we extend that for the 2 months of summer, we will have young people that don't just lose their slip, but they can actually continue to grow as readers. This is really important when we talk summertime. What can we do to fill our time? Being intentional with our priorities. So yes, please go on trips or see your friends and family and have fun and watch your shows and do your movie nights and have all that. And know the summer slip is a thing. The reason we care about this is when you have a young person show up in a classroom, and they believe they have the skills necessary, and then all of a sudden this is a lot harder because they lost 40% of the previous academic year, they will inherently believe that that is a personal issue. Like, oh, I don't get this because this is harder. Everyone else gets it. We've all been here, right? Everyone else gets it. I don't get it. It must be a me thing. That is a lie that our children are all too quick to believe and that we must head off. This is not about you being intelligent. This is about you being practiced. And it is very important that we do not counter for this deficit by telling them they're smart. I don't have all of the research here in front of me for this one, but this is just a note. If you want to research like who cheats the most in school, it's not your struggling students. It's your top tier students. These are the ones who are microdosing with focus medications that they aren't prescribed because they need to retain this info and they need to stay up a little later and they need to be sharp. These young people are cutting corners and cheating more often than their peers because they've been told they're smart. And that doesn't motivate them, that scares them. So do not just go, oh, you're so smart. You're so good at school. Instead, praise them for the work they're doing. Tell them, this is hard and I love to watch the way you work at this. I've seen God work in your mind and continue to grow you. I've seen your work ethic continue to pay dividends in the way you are both working, so you know how to work through a problem, and your curiosity, your awe, your amazement. This is not we're filling a bucket or putting, knowledge in a bank account that they're going to draw on later. This is teaching our young people educational academic resilience, teaching them curiosity, teaching them the wonder God gave them, where we get to go and learn about the God of this world through science and math and literature and writing and communication of all varieties. That's what we want our young people to take out of this. So please don't just praise them for being smart. It freaks them out. In fact, there are studies where you take two groups of kids and one group of kids, you give them really hard puzzles, both written puzzles and then like actual analog puzzles they have to arrange. And you tell one group that they're smart and you praise the other group for their hard work. And you time how long it takes them to quit. And the group who's been told they're smart quits first. Because like, well, I'm smart and I can't do this. So it gives me two options. Prove I'm dumb or just not do it. right? Like if I'm smart and I can't do this, then I don't work at it because I don't know how. But the group who's praised for their hard work continues to work at it. And even if they don't solve it, their enjoyment of the process is higher as well. So when we get our children to read over summer, we understand we're equipping them with skills to understand how one learns. How does your brain work? What does this look like? Reading 20 minutes a day exposes you to more words, which makes more words then easier to understand, more ideas, which makes you easier to connect more ideas, and just the general ability to sit and focus when something's a bit slow. Books don't quite come out and grab you like your modern video game or social media will. So that is all important things. This is convicting for me as well. This is my job. And it's really easy to listen to an audiobook on 2x, right? It's really easy to listen to a conversation with the author on YouTube. I can still get most of it, right? Like I can find a way to do that in 90 minutes instead of doing the process that's really important of just sitting and learning and being. There is even a spiritual aspect to this that I would emphasize that is something that I've still had to work on well into adulthood and parenthood, that being quiet and being still is a skill. So this summer, we're going to stop the summer slip by reading 20 minutes a day. And by reading 20 minutes a day, because more than half of American students are losing up to 40% of their knowledge from the previous school year, and they're doing it in consecutive years. And we're putting their kids at a disadvantage. They're going to believe they're the problem when really it's just they're not in shape for school, right? Don't show up at football never having worked out and wonder why your body's sore and why everyone else is doing better and running faster and able to hit harder. Like same thing with school. You got to show up ready to work, having put in some work this summer. Then there's the math side. Said 27% of students weren't ready academically at their reading level. Same is true with their math levels. Again, it can be 20 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to be brain-crushing difficulty. In fact, we have a great tool for this. Yes, you can get workbooks, and yes, you can get tutoring, and yes, you can pay for all this, but there's a free program, a nonprofit called Khan Academy. And if you go to Khan Academy, you can start a free account. You can start a children's one that ties with your adult one, and unlike your local Roblox account, these actually work, send you regular updates, and you can see what your student was working on. If you have a Mac device, you can actually lock it in. So guided access will allow you to say, this is the only program that can be used right now. And what that allows you to do is you can set a timer and say, hey, we're going to do 20 minutes of math. You open up this program. It's now locked into Khan Academy. So they're not going to other websites or going to YouTube or doing other things. And within that website, they can both receive generated questions and prompts for the math they need. So Hadley can do it at kindergarten where it's basic addition and subtraction. Henry can do it at his 3rd grade level going into 4th grade. And Owen can do it at his 5th grade going into 6th grade. And that works for them. Then if they get stuck, so you do math by category, like this is the chunk where it's 12 lessons on this type of math. For Owen, it might be long division. So we're working on long division. He's going through it and then he gets stuck. Well, there's a little 3-minute video you can click on. And I've clicked on lots of these because math was not my forte. And I have 2 children that are pretty good at it. They work real hard and it makes sense to their brains. So they can click on those and I'll watch. I'm like, yeah, how do we? Remind me again how you do 2-digit division into a 5-digit number. Like, I don't know. Don't do that a lot these days. But what's beautiful about it is then it builds. So they don't have to necessarily remember everything about that. They know that the next step will build on this concept. And it allows math to kind of get broken out of, but this is your grade level. So learn your grade level to like, well, this is math. And we tiered it by grade levels because there's things you need to know first. And we have like a basic process, but like math doesn't care what grade you're in. If you can do it, go ahead and do it. If you want to move on to geometry, get there. If you can understand trigonometry, wonderful. Like there's some spatial reasoning and brain development that needs to happen for this. But like the premise is, it's not about, well, get your math done. It's about, this is math. It explains how our universe works. Like this place is designed in a fine-tuned machine. Let's talk about how math displays that, and let's go and learn math. So I really like Khan Academy. I strongly recommend it. You can use any program you like. This is one that's free. It doesn't have bells and whistles. It doesn't have ads that pop up on your kid. It doesn't ask you to buy a premium membership. So I've really liked that one and do strongly encourage that. So again, it's Khan Academy. That's KHAN academy.org. Ooh, I'm going to actually check that right now while we're talking. It is, .org. Phew. I doubted myself, but it's .org. So khanacademy.org, you can check that out. So we're going to do 20 minutes a day. math, 20 minutes a day of reading. If you just do that 6 days a week, you're going to be over the 2 to 3 hours a week that are recommended to stop or even stop the slide or advance the learning for a summer. Then it comes to, all right, but in reading. So we have math. It's broken down by grade level. Everyone kind of has a standardized idea now in America, at least, of what should a third grader, a fifth grader, a kindergartner know. But then you have the what do we read? So 2 books. First is Read Aloud Revival by Sarah McKenzie. Strongly recommend that. It's a great book to encourage you and your family to find great books to read together. You can do these 20 minutes together. That's awesome. The Honey for a Child's Heart is a great book where you can find just recommendations by age level and interest for children going all the way up through high school, but specifically through middle school for high interest books. And then allowing your child to choose the high interest book is really valuable because that's going to instill some initiative. It's now not punishment. It's not something you made them do. It's something they want to do. So for our kids, we're talking high interest, self-selected. Owen really, really likes the National Park Mystery Series. I've read the first 3 in the series. They're good. They go to Zion National Park, or they go to, oh my goodness, Yellowstone National Park. And they're trying to solve this mystery that's been laid out for them. Kind of boxcar children-y, but quick writing, well written, the plot works, it's engaging and entertaining. And it's like great propaganda for the national parks in terms of here's why you should go out in nature. This will help you get some nature time, which we'll talk about in a future episode. But it does a really good job of conveying to a child why nature would be exciting without you having to say it. So I personally am biased for this series after watching my son read it. And then Owen also really likes books that are just nonfiction. I mean, travel books on countries. We have one on England. Books, the Smithsonian book on World War II. Lots of pictures, lots of facts. Random books of facts, 5,000 facts. He just wants to read through them and be like, Dad, did you know there's a jawbreaker that's, I don't know, bigger than a car? Just those things. High interest, self-selected, read. Henry really likes and Owen really likes the Green Ember series. Henry really likes Peter Nimble. There's a series that's got some very humorous narrator parts. He likes The Hobbit. He likes, the Roald Dahl, classic ones, the Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFGs, one he just started. Those are great books that are very silly. Again, they have some British humor and the kids can be mean to each other. So if you don't let your kids watch 101 Dalmatians, probably don't let them read these books. People call each other names and it's not kind and it models some behaviors that we don't necessarily encourage. So think that through as you're looking at it, but self-selected, high interest. And then Hadley, it's anything with animals. National Geographic Kids with animals, Scholastic Kids with animals, Biscuit the dog, any book, there's an animal involved. Hadley's here for it. And that's been the child we've seen grow the most this year in reading. And that's been really neat as she has worked super hard and has found that joy and delight of when your brain can make sense of the words in front of you. And she'll, read signs when she's someplace I know that word. And that's been such a praise the Lord for teachers and for Anna, who has worked really hard with her in the evenings. Oh man, I'm going to forget the name of the book they went through. All right, I'll post it in the show notes though, for a great book for how to get a young person to begin to make sense of the words in front of them. That's what we're trying to work on this summer is let's stop the summer slip. Let's read 20 minutes a day, do 20 minutes of math, have all the other fun, but this is stuff we can do on travel. This is stuff we can do as a family. This is stuff we can do independently for a quiet time because it's still important to practice getting some time to not be overstimulated by friends and sun and noise. And yeah, that's my encouragement to you is let's this summer stop the summer slip. What we've made as a resource to help you in this is a little bingo card. Anna designed this herself. It's a way that we've used in previous years for our kids, and we want to extend to your family. You can download it, you can print it and stick it on the, we just put ours on our refrigerator, and the kids go, we have one for each kid. And they go through and they go, okay, today's 20 minutes of reading is going to be whatever. I'm going to read under a tree. I'm going to reread my favorite book. I'm going to read out loud to a sibling. I'm going to read with my stuffies. I'm going to do whatever it is. You can only accomplish one block a day. So no fair reading 2 hours straight and checking off a bunch of boxes. 6 boxes would be the case of 20 minutes a day. And what we're going to do, and for those of you on YouTube, they look like this. So what we're going to do then is we're going to read our 20 minutes, check off our box. Actually, some of these say 15 minutes, and that's great. 15 minutes of math, 15 minutes of reading. But the point is you get a line, and you're going to be doing, you're going to be able to get we do a blizzard for our family. You can change that if that's not your jam. But we do a blizzard, a mini blizzard. And if you do 2 bingos, then you can upgrade it a size. We do not allow you to upgrade to the tallest size because that's an insane amount of ice cream and sugar. But we do allow you, hey, you can save that and get a second one on another time. We allow blackout, where we give you a $15 gift card. We're going to bribe you to read and to do your math. Absolutely. And then if you complete that, and we've gone through all these days and there's still days of summer, yeah, we'll pay you again. Because we believe, Ann and I, as educators, as parents, as people who work with technology and families on a regular basis, that this is so key for your child's confidence in school, for your child's amazement at the world, for your child's ability to engage in ancient texts like the Bible. They're not going to be able to do that for themselves with the gift that the canon of the Bible is for them if they don't know how to read at grade level, because the Bible is not an elementary school grade level. It's not. It's an upper high school. It's an ancient text. It takes context and big vocab and deep thinking and time. And we are allowing our children to build some of those skills. They're going to apply their own spiritual growth. So, bingo card. You can get it from gospeltech.net/resources. You can also just send me a note if you want. We have posted it as well to Instagram. So if you go check there, part of this series we'll be posting, and then you can type into the comments bingo, and we will send you, or actually I think it's going to be summer slip. Check the post, and then it'll kick out this PDF of this card as well. So the point of this, though, is we can avoid the summer slip, which is very real, where half of students are losing up to 40% of what they learned in math and in reading. That is the major indicator of academic success, because it's not about our kids being smart or not smart. It's about our kids applying the skills God has given them and getting the practice they need over summer. So encourage your student to read with him or her, make this part of what your family does, use it as a way to leverage some of the free time and spare time you're going to have this summer, and enjoy it in the process. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Nathan@gospeltech.net, or you can reach us at Love God Use Tech on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and then join us next week as we continue this conversation about how we can love God and use tech.
Thanks for listening. We just wanted to take a minute to let you know that just like you and your family, Purposely is also part of a family, the Krista family of ministries. Krista helps kids and teens learn and grow in their faith at King Schools and Miracle Ranch Camp. And Krista shares Jesus with people in the poorest, most remote places through World Concern. Krista Senior Living is a community of love and care, and Krista Media is a place of hope on the radio. God is changing lives through these 5 ministries, and Krista is on mission to share the good news of Jesus. To learn more, visit krista.org.